Hi, everybody. Welcome to Trendy Trading. My name's Jonathan. Happy New Year. Let's go ahead and get started with the SPX recap from today. Now, I would do a recap and go over all of my trades, but I'm going to keep it really focused and detailed just for the SPX. Now, I have said to myself, I'm going to study the SPX. I'm going to use the trendy methodology. I'm going to apply my proprietary scripts to it. I'm basically just using my buy and sell signals. I'm using, I would say, 5% of gut. Okay, so I just want to throw that in there and I'm going to talk through it with you. But before I get into that, I want to show you the chart that I just pushed out on Twitter. This chart itself I'm going to use for the rest of the week. We have a lower highs. And so far we're flagging here, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands my support level is in line with the inside and up here. This is also a Fibonacci level. So measuring from this point here to the pivot high, we come up with the 23.6 and the 38.2. These are very, very important because really at the end of the day, if this trend is going to continue up, those levels need to hold. So depending on what time frame you are using, then I would say as long as prices are closing within that box, things are bullish. So that's why I annotated under here, short under with caution. Overall, as I said in the broad market review, please make sure you watch that on my YouTube page if you haven't. As long as we're staying in and above those levels, I don't want to get short. I may trim and get out of positions and then re-enter as long as buyers show up at levels that I provide. So again, if for some reason we pull back into this level, I will be looking for buyers. Notice if we start to break under here, short with caution, what does that mean to me? Again, this is a hypothetical and it could change during trading conditions. But as of right now, my support would then become my stop. And because I would expect a little volatility, I actually would start with MES opposed to using ES contracts because of the volatility that I would expect. Okay. All right. So if we go bid or ask underneath this level, then I'm looking for prices to come into the green box at or around this gap fill. This could definitely be a target down here at 4, 5, 6, 8. Or we could find a reclaim. Let me go ahead and draw that for you so that you can understand what that looks like. So price would have to drop here. Most likely we would get bids to come in and then we would have to break down again, okay, creating a look like this. And then once we get here, this entry on reclaim, it's pretty straightforward. All I'm looking for is an inside candle. And then once we start to go bid above that, I'm long with stops where I feel comfortable. And then I'm looking to take that trade most likely up into the EMA cloud. You know, this would swoop down something like this. And then I would trade it up into the cloud where I would then trim. And then from there, maintain a position. Okay. All right. So that's the look going into this week. If we break out of this channel, it's very important to understand that we still have this pivot high here. And we are making lower highs. So if tomorrow we do not gap up and we're making lower highs, okay, and so say we get a candle like this, and then we continue to kind of break down here, then again, I'm looking now for this 47.44 by 47.24, and my stops would be up here around the high. If for some reason we gap up, we take out the pivot high, I want to see that level hold. Okay, so this level needs to hold. So let's go ahead and put that in there. And then I'm looking for targets here at 48.27 by 48.45. Pretty straightforward. Now let's go ahead and talk about the trades and why you probably came here. Again, I made 300%, 50%, 33%, and I did some really cool stuff. So I did call debit spreads just like I did in the last recap. And then I went just directional off the 300 and the 50%. But let's talk about the call debit spread first. Okay, I'm going to take you into a 3-minute chart. That's right, 3 minutes. Okay, and as I said, I'm using my proprietary scripts. I'm using my buy and sell signals, but I'm also using maybe 5% gut here. Now, if you watch the BMA or the broad market review, you know that I'm extremely bullish. And because of that, remember, I'm looking at buying the dip only into my levels that I have provided. Notice here on the chart, when price pulled back this afternoon, I bought the call debit spread somewhere in this area. They went up a little bit, but then they came back. And then we timed the market perfectly. Okay, so what I did was I bought back the short side of the call debit spread. If you don't know what that means, go back to my last recap and I really go into detail about that. Then I left the longs, and as you could see, price went up very nicely here. Now, once again, what I'm looking for are my support levels. How you pick the strike is kind of not only up to the targets that you have on your chart to the upside or resistance, but it also could just be your risk appetite. I would tell you that anywhere from 30 to 50s I really like on the delta side of the option itself. Now me, quite clearly, all I'm looking for in my buy signals, these green arrows, I'm looking for my levels to hold. The green arrows are giving me confirmation to stay in the trade. The red arrows mean nothing to me if we're above the cloud, and then I stay in the trade as long as we can stay above the cloud. Again, this provided 300%. Now, I want to talk about something before I close this off. Let's go into, let's say, a 5-minute here. Okay, and you could see right around this time frame we pulled back this morning. And again, this is on a 5-minute. I got a buy signal here. Notice that price came back into and around the inception of the move from this morning and held. Notice that we have an inside and up formation coming out of here, and this is where we're looking for buyers to step in. This gave me the confidence to buy back the short side. This is the first reason why I bought back that short side. Okay. Now notice if we back this up and we go over to the ES futures, very, very important. I talk about the ES futures all the time. Remember, on ES futures, you're basically looking for every 10 points in an ES move. You're then looking for $1 in the SPY. Sorry about that. Let me get it over here. There we go. All right. So this is the blueprint that I've been putting out for everybody to see. All right. And I want you to notice that we continue to stay in this red box. All right. And because we're staying in that red box, I want to stay bullish. Notice that we pulled back today just a little bit, but something very, very important here that you can take note of. Okay. We did not make a lower low. This is so important. I teach this, I talk about it, and a lot of traders, they tend to get bearish right around here. Matter of fact, I heard some chatter out there of those buying puts right around the time I was actually buying back the short side of my call spread and getting naked directional to make that 300% we talked about. Okay. So right around this area here, I need you to note that we did not make a lower low. We actually made a higher low. Okay. Made a higher low from this initial candle here. Okay. And then we started to push up right here. And then notice we make the inside and up, and now nice little hook pattern. But as I said, on the ES, we need to get over that pivot high. Tonight, the biggest thing, I'm going to go ahead and create an alert here while we're all talking about it. This is really my number, and I'm sure a lot of other traders are using this number, and that's 47.92.5 or 47.93. If this goes off, I do believe we make all-time highs going into this week. Remember, use it if this, then that scenario. If price breaks over this pivot high, I'm looking for this. If price breaks down below this level, I'm looking for that. It's very easy. And if you just wait for your levels, you will be a better, confident, consistent trader. If you have any questions and you want to know more about the trendy environment, please come and check out trendytrading.co. I'll be happy to talk to you either through Twitter or you can send me an email. I look forward to trading with you. Thank you.